Hi, this is Dan from onlinebasscourses.com. Hope you're doing well. In this lesson, I'm going to show you the difference between a rest stroke and a free stroke. So mostly you're probably going to be using rest strokes. And this is a technique borrowed from the classical guitar world. We're plucking with our index and middle fingers, and on all the strings apart from an E string, you can pluck and then come to rest on the next string. So look, if I pluck the E string, there isn't a string lower than it to rest into unless you've got a 5 string. But for the A, D, and G strings, when we pluck those, you want to get into the habit of plucking through in this case, the A string, and then coming to rest on the E string. Now, the angle of the fingers is quite important. My fingers aren't very, very straight and they're not very curved. There's just a slight curl in them. And whilst I'm keeping everything relaxed, they're quite rigid. I'm not letting anything collapse in. So if your fingers are a bit too curled, which I see a lot, quite common, you'll get a free stroke, which we'll get onto. And if you're doing it a bit too hard, you'll be pulling the string away almost like you're doing a pop in slap. So you watch this as well actually. Watch how my wrist comes back to the top of the bass here. And I've suddenly just got a better angle and I'm plucking through towards the body of the bass really. It gives you a nice full and round tone. So remember to be plucking with your index and middle fingers. There are loads of different ways that you can play. You can play with 3 fingers and you can take a Geddy Lee approach, which is just attacking the strings a bit more. So, this isn't the only way that you can do things, but it's just a general guide to get used to this habit. Like on the D string, I can anchor on the A string now if I'm plucking on the D string. That will mute the A string, and if I back my thumb onto the E string, it'll also mute that string. I'm still doing this rest stroke. Now, a common thing that might also happen is when you pluck, you just come too far and you pluck the other string as well. So you just want to aim for consistency here. So as ever, you just do it really slowly. You just explore until you're used to it. If you're doing that, you're just plucking too far and too hard into the string. So nice light touch is all you need. As I'm going, you can just stop with your fretting hand. You can stop the string. You can also catch it with the next finger that you're plucking. But that really is it. I would go slow, really slow. And then you can increase speed. At that speed, those are 16th notes. I'm just playing a C on the 3rd fret A string and a D on the 5th fret of the A string, just to liven things up a bit. I'm trying to keep things as consistent as I can. I'm doing a rest stroke every single time. And it will take a bit of time to get used to not plucking through that string or to not pull the string away. Also, be aware that you can alter the placement of where you pluck. Tight, funky sound there. More of a round, warm, open sound there. So those would be your rest strokes. Again, taken from classical guitar. And free strokes is what classical guitarists do when they play chordal passages, which we can do as well. So, there's loads of ways you can do this. So many, I won't go through them all, but a free stroke is where you, in a controlled manner, instead of resting into the next string as we did before, you do come away. Like that. So, I don't know, what shall I play? So if you're playing a chord, I'm just doing an E major 7th chord there. I've got my 2nd finger on the 7th fret of the A string, my 1st finger on the 6th fret of the D string, and I'm using my little finger on the 8th fret of the G string. You can use your 3rd if you want, but I think little finger promotes a straighter wrist, which we want. So I'm just going thumb. I'm almost brushing the string now, brushing it, and I don't want to pull it away. I don't want that sound. I want I'm resting my wrist here. Again, anchoring is very important. Also here, using my little finger a bit, again, for a bit of anchoring against the body, just to steady the entire hand so I can get a bit more consistency. And see how the finger there is just coming away. And not plucking too hard. I don't want a harsh sound. Of course, if you wanted to, you would just play a bit harder, but you want to be quite light with this. There are loads of really nice passages you can play with free strokes. And generally they do involve chords, or there I was going 7th fret E string and 8th fret G string, fingers 1 and 4. And just using my thumb and index to very lightly pluck, it's quite exaggerated there, coming right away. Then if you go 1 fret higher with your little finger, 2 frets higher to the 9th fret on the E string with your first finger, you get a minor 10th. 2 frets higher, same shape. And you wouldn't do rest strokes with that. Free strokes is entirely appropriate for this. So in application in real world of music, you're probably going to be using rest strokes nearly all the time. I would just add at this point that there shouldn't really be a battle between rest strokes and whether you play with a plectrum or slap. I think you should do a bit of all of them. They all sound different. They'll be called upon in different songs and different scenarios. So I would recommend that you learn as much as you can. And even within this, you can play with 3 fingers. In that example there, I'm still doing rest strokes. So, you know, always learn the basic techniques and then you can build on top of those. Okay, I hope you got something from that very quick lesson. This was a question from one of my subscribers, so if you have any, leave one in the comments below. I do at least 1 video a week, so make sure you subscribe, hit the bell notification so that you don't miss any new lessons. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.